scenario of a Forgotten Age campaign with Jenny Barnes. It's a solo campaign. The third scenario will feel a bit like some other scenarios, in that there's not one goal, there's not one thing you have to do to win. Really, you just do as much as you can before you resign. So kind of little throwback to Midnight Masks. And actually, you are using some of the same locations from Midnight Mask in the Night of the Zealot campaign, as well as the 5 treachery cards from the Midnight Masks encounter set. There's a lot of flavor text to get through, so we'll get to that. The night passes. Again, scenario 3, the Threads of Fate. Intro 1. The night passes with the Chitaka resting in your living room. You get no sleep for the remainder of the night. Your thoughts drifting between concern and disbelief. Her story is preposterous, but you feel compelled to believe it nonetheless. You've known that the relic from the Eztli ruins had some deeper purpose ever since you first laid eyes on it. When you emerge from your bedroom the next morning, your uninvited guest is sitting at your dining room table, arms crossed tightly across her chest. Her piercing eyes trace your every move like a bird watching its prey. No pleasantries are exchanged. "Where is the relic now?" Eztli asks impatiently. "Where have you brought it?" You explain that it is You explain that it is safe, in good hands. She shakes her head, her knuckles white with frustration. "I assure you, it is not." Now, we gave custody of the relic to Alejandro, so we're going to go to Intro 2. Setting aside your many questions for the time being, you call your contact at the Miskatonic University Museum. Despite the early hour, Dr. Horowitz should be at her office preparing for the long day ahead of her. The operator connects you after a short delay. Ellie, gives you an unusually curt greeting, her voice cracking and unsteady. As soon as you ask about the relic, she scoffs. "Not you too. Mr. Walstead is practically knocking down my office door, and 2 reporters have been harassing me all morning." You ask her what the trouble is, and she lets out a long sigh. "The relic is missing," she explains. "None of the security guards know what happened. One minute it was in the display case, the next it was gone. And before you ask, no, Mr. Vela is nowhere to be found." Suddenly she is yelling to another party, "1 moment, please, I am on the telephone." She apologizes to you tersely and hangs up a moment later. Sure enough, Alejandro is not answering his telephone, and none of his other associates have seen him since yesterday. "Believe me now?" Eztli asks, rising to her feet and gathering her things. "We've wasted enough time. Find the relic and meet me back here tonight. Don't follow me." Now, a lead investigator must decide. Choose one. You can go to "You're Not Going Anywhere," tell you what is going on, which would be Intro 4, or you can go to "Have It Your Way," which would be Intro 5. I don't have a strong preference here, so I'm going to roll the die. 1, 2, 3 will be Intro 4, 4, 5, 6 will be Intro 5. 1, 2, 3. Alright, you're not going anywhere until you tell me what is going on. Intro 4. Eztli grits her teeth and pauses. You expect her to refuse and leave without answering your questions, but surprisingly, she relents. According to Eztli, her people have spent ages protecting the relic from interlopers who would use it for nefarious purposes. She speaks cryptically in half riddles and tall tales, although she refuses to explain where her people come from, and how they have remained hidden for so long. When pressed about the relic, all she says is that it controls the flow of time, and that it must not be tampered with. It must return to its rightful place, she explains. Her gaze is relentless, unwavering. "Do you understand? It cannot fall into the wrong hands. If you help me recover it, I will aid you in return. Just promise me you will not use it." Now you're going to remember that you listened to Eztli's tale, and we're going to add 1 cultist to the cast bag for the remainder of the campaign. So there definitely is a small price to pay listening to her tell, and that you do make the bag even that much more not good for you. But again, I didn't have that big of a preference, and I'm happy with that randomness. So I've gathered the various encounter sets. We already have our encounter deck here. I took out Alejandro Vela as well as the Relic of Ages. They were put aside as per the setup instructions. Those locations are in play. We begin in Rivertown. Now, what makes this scenario really unique is that there are actually three act decks. There are three act decks. I'm going to put the agenda deck in play. Agenda 1, 3 fates. You have 3 tasks before you in a limited amount of time before the trail goes cold. Which do you choose first? And there's a resign ability on there. It says you don't want to risk taking too long. You head to safety with the information you've gathered. And now we have our 3 act decks. So you really get to choose which act deck you want to advance. The key is setting them up. So there are 8 cards as part of each act deck sets. So this is the A deck. So that's A, B on the other side. You have C, D, and you have E, F. All right. So we're going to set these up according to the instructions. If the investigators gave custody of the relic to Alejandro, which we did, we're going to remove from the AB deck Harlan is in danger, both copies of Harlan's Curse, and then one of the 2 copies of At the Exhibit at random. So I'm going to roll this. I'm going to get rid of number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to get rid of that one. And now I have 4 cards remaining. I will put that in play as the AB deck. It says the relic is missing. The Eztli relic was last seen in the display case in the Eztli exhibit at the Miskatonic Museum. Istaka fears that the relic could be used for terrible purposes if left in the wrong hands. You must recover it. Only investigators in Miskatonic University can spend the requisite number of clues as a group to events, and we only need 1 clue for this solo campaign. I'll put that aside. Alright, now we're going to take the CD deck. If you wish to go to the police to inform them about Alejandro's appearance, or if you wish to look for Alejandro on your own. So we're going to choose 1, 2, 3. I'll do the first option. 4, 5, 6. I'll do the second. 1, 2, 3. We'll do the first option. I wish to go to the police to inform them about Alejandro's disappearance. So we're going to remove the following cards. We're going to remove Search for Alejandro. We're going to remove Friends in High Places, both copies, and then one of the 2 copies of At the Station. 1, 2, 3. That was the top card. Be consistent with what I did the first time. So these 4 cards are out. These 4 cards are in. That is the second act deck. And now we have 1 more. The EF deck. If you listen to Istaka's tale, which we did, so we're going to remove the Trial of the Huntress, both copies of the Cave of Darkness, and one of the 2 copies of Strange Relics at random. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll take care of the first one. Now these 4 cards become our EF deck. So missing persons says, suspecting foul play, you've decided to go to the police to enlist their help in searching for Alejandro. Only investigators in Easttown can spend the requisite number of clues as a group to events. That requires 1 clue per investigator. And then the Guardian's Inquiry. Istaka tells you that she saw several Eztli artifacts on sale in the strange shop near the northwestern edge of the city. She wants to head in that direction to investigate further. Only investigators in Northside can spend the requisite number of clues as a group to events, and that also takes just 1 clue. Now, from experience, I do think that the first act deck is the riskiest to advance early, and I will explain that later. But let's hope I get some good cards to get started here. So my first draw, I get Quick Thinking. If I succeed a skill test that I commit this to by 2 or more, I get an extra action. I get Manual Dexterity. I'm looking for a weapon. lockpicks, my flashlight, or an ally here. So pickpocketing, dynamite blast. I'm holding on to. Normally I don't like having this in my hand early, but in this scenario I'm happy to have this early. And we got Lone Wolf, which with dynamite blast honestly probably isn't a bad idea. I don't know how much evasion I'm going to be doing, so can't count on that. I'm going to draw 3 more. We got deduction, commit that to an investigation skill test, discover 1 additional clue. There's a weapon, give me an ally. Alright, backstab. Backstab again it's a combat, but it uses agility instead of combat, and if you succeed it deals 3 damage, not just 1. Alright, so an ally would have been nice. This scenario has a way of kind of nicking you here and there with damage and horror. I'd like to have some meat shields, but we'll make do with what we have. So we start in Rivertown, which is the only central location on the board, which may be relevant depending on what encounter cards we pull here. The shroud value is 1, the clue value is also 1. I am going to put the 41 Derringer into play to get a weapon. That has 3 ammo, and it costs 3 to play, and then I'm going to play the Lone Wolf to start getting 3 resources a turn. And then with my 3rd action, I'm going to investigate a 3 to a 1. Nice, easy clue. That's how we start. -5. Hoping that this is not an omen, because this scenario can go sideways real quick. Alright. Let's go to the enemy phase. We can skip. There are no enemies. Upkeep phase. We're going to draw a card. We get my machete. Wish I had this before I put the Derringer up, but that's fine. We will then take 2 resources. Mythos phase. We're going to put the first Doom on the agenda, and we're going to draw this card. It is an Acolyte, and we will put him in Easttown. Spawn any empty location forced after Acolyte enters play. Place 1 Doom on it. So we're going to want to kill him pretty quick. Investigation phase. I'm going to exhaust the Lone Wolf, just as a reminder to me that I need to take that resource. Let's investigate again. So first action, 3 to a 1. -2, that's better. Succeed. I'm going to move to Easttown. The Acolyte is going to engage with me. The shroud value of Easttown is 2, the clue value is 1, and while you are in Easttown, you reduce the cost of each ally asset you play by 2. I'm going to use a free triggered action to advance the Act deck. We are looking at Act C. It is the Arkham Police Station. The shroud value is 3. The clue value is 2. And their revelation effect put the Arkham Police Station into play. Easttown is connected to it. And as an action, we can search the top 6 cards of our deck for our weapon. Obviously, don't really need to do that. Not with the Derringer and the machete. There's a victory point on there as well. We'll go to Agenda 2C at the station. The police station might be open to the public in theory, but getting your story heard by the proper authorities requires a bit more finesse than you imagined. Objective: only investigators in the Arkham Police Station can spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance, and that requisite number for me is 2. Now I'm going to try to kill Jenny. I'm going to shoot. I'm sorry, Jenny. I'm not killing Jenny. I'm going to try to kill the Acolyte with my last action. Shooting a bullet. Spend 1 ammo. Fight +2. If I succeed by 2 or more, I get +1 damage. But I just want to succeed. Period. -1. Don't get +1 damage. Don't need it. Acolyte is dead. Alright, so decent start for this scenario. Definitely gonna need something to help me with this investigation at the Arkham police station, but overall this could be going a lot worse. So enemy phase, I'm going to ready Lone Wolf. Again, don't need to exhaust it. I do just find it helpful. I pick a card. It is Slip Away. Allows me to add my intellect to the skill value for the evasion, which is again normally agility, so it would be a base of a 6, and then if I succeed by 2 or more, I can actually attach Slip Away to the enemy, and it doesn't ready the next phase. I get 2 resources. I'm going to put the second Doom on the agenda. We're going to take the second card on the encounter deck. Locked door. I'm attaching to the location with the most clues, which is obviously the police station, and it cannot be investigated. I have to test combat 4 to break down the door, or agility 4 to pick the locks. Alright, well, not like I'm really set up to investigate this baby anyway, which isn't totally ideal, but I do want to analyze. So let me see what I can do if I pick up some cards this turn. So I'm going to exhaust Lone Wolf to remind me to take a resource. So doing fairly okay with resources right now. And we are going to draw a card as my first action. It's a Switchblade. Totally useless for me. Draw another card. Leo. Not useless. I'm going to play Leo. Because I'm in East Town, he only cost 4, which is especially nice. And with my fourth action, because remember I played Leo, I do get that additional action this turn immediately. I'm going to move to the police station. I think. No, I'll stay here just in case. I'm gonna pick another card in my fourth action. Alright. Enemy phase, there are no enemies. Upkeep phase, we're gonna draw a card. Searching for Izzy. She's gonna go the farthest location. Remember, she takes 2 actions. She is Jenny's personal weakness. There's 2 actions to investigate. If you succeed, instead of discovering clues, you can discard her. If she's in play at the end of the round, I get a mental trauma, which I will try to avoid. And I'm going to get 2 resources. Alright, we're putting the third Doom in play. We're going to take this card, place 2 Doom on the nearest cultist enemy. If there are no cultist enemies, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a cultist enemy. Draw it and shuffle the encounter deck. I'm going to draw the Acolyte, put him in an empty location, which is the police station, and I'll put 1 Doom on him, which I can use to my advantage in a couple of ways. Alright, so I'm going to exhaust Lone Wolf to remind myself to take a resource. I'm going to move to the Arkham police station. The Acolyte engages with me. Now I have 3 actions left. I am going to actually try to pick the locks. So that's my action. Now I'm going to commit Switchblade as a 4 to a 4. Now this causes an attack of opportunity, which I'm going to cancel, which gives me +2, which is a 6 to a 4. Oh my gosh. I picked this so many more times than I really ever should. But that's fine. I am on quite the run with the auto lose lately. That was my second action. My third action is I'm just going to shoot my gun to try to kill this stupid Acolyte. 5 to a 3. Minus X. X is the highest number of cultists on the highest number of doom when I called this enemy in play. I've been much happier to pull that last time. Shoot. I have one more action. And honestly, no earthly clue how I'm picking those locks. Oh, man. My last action, I'm going to draw a card. That will help. Alright, enemy phase, upkeep phase. We're going to ready Lone Wolf. I'm going to draw another card. That's also going to help. We're going to take 2 resources. I'm going to put the 4th Doom in play. We're going to take this card. Peril, test 3 willpower. If you fail, take 1 damage and 1 horror. It gets harder if there was an act completed. There is not. I have no damage or horror yet. This is probably going to be my first 3 to a 3. Poof. Auto lose is hot. I take a damage, take a horror. Investigation turn begins. I'm going to take a resource. Now, I'm going to do some. Going to play. First, I'm going to move here with my first action. I'm going to play Dr. Milan with my second. He's only going to cost 2 because I'm in East Town. I'm going to investigate East Town as a 4 to a 2. I succeed. And get this clue. After you successfully investigate, I'm going to use the taboo rules. Well, it doesn't say to exhaust him, but the taboo rules nerf him a little bit, so he's exhausted, and I'm going to gain a resource for successfully investigating. Resources are clutch right now. All right. So, and plus having a clue that I can burn based on some cards in the encounter deck isn't the worst idea ever. And now my 4th action is I'm going to move back to the Arkham police station. The most efficient use of my actions, but again, resources are a bit of a premium because I'm going to need to pick that lock or knock it down, and I'm only going to be able to do that with hard knocks. So, enemy phase we can skip. There are no enemies. Upkeep phase. So I moved. I played him. I investigated. I moved. I'm going to draw a card. It is find clues, which would definitely come in handy in this scenario. And I'm going to take 2 resources. I'm going to play the 5th Doom, and we pull Words of Power. If there are 1 or more enemies at your location with Doom on them, you cannot damage those enemies or discover clues at your location. That is something I definitely will need to get rid of. But not yet. So I'm going to exhaust Lone Wolf and take a resource. I'm going to spend 2 resources with my first action to play Hard Knocks. I'm going to then spend 3 resources to try to knock down the door. 6 to a 4. I succeed. Locked door goes away. That was my second action. First action was playing that. Second action was knocking on the door. My 3rd action is I'm going to investigate. I have a base of a 3, +1 for Dr. Milan, +1 for deduction, and I'm actually going to add slip away. So it's a 6 to a 3 for 2 clues. Oh, I'm so glad I added slip away. Alright, again, deduction. If this skill test is successful while investigating at a location, discover 1 additional clue. So I committed both those icons. I had a 4, 5, 6, -3, 3 to a 3. I succeed, and I get both of those clues. Alright, I'm now going to spend 2 of these clues because I do not want to risk getting false lead out of the encounter deck with 3 clues on me. Especially since I have nothing other. Oh, I successfully investigated, so I also get a resource by re-tossing Dr. Milan. And now I will advance deck. None of the police officers have seen Alejandro, and they don't seem interested in helping you find him. It's only been a couple of days. He'll turn up, they say. They give excuses, trying to avoid filling out a report. Finally, just as you are about to leave in frustration, a homeless man being held for disorderly conduct grabs your elbow. I saw him, he drawls. The man you describe, I saw him in the sky, carried in its clutches. He describes a faceless, winged creature, while the officers nearby chuckle and roll their eyes. The man is clearly drunk. But could it be he's telling the truth? Search the encounter deck, discard pile, and victory display for a hunting night gaunt, and spawn it in the location farthest from all investigators. Task to set aside Alejandro Vela to the hunting night gaunt farthest from all investigators. So we're going to search the encounter deck. We're going to put the hunting night gaunt in the curiosity shop, which again is still the farthest location, so he can go hang out with Izzy, or at least a search for Izzy. And then we're going to attach Alejandro Vela. And we're going to advance to Alejandro's plight. So we're going to take Alejandro's prison out of the game. Alejandro's plight. You believe you have discovered the identity of Alejandro's kidnapper. Now you must fight to rescue your companion. While Alejandro Vela is attached to an enemy, the enemy gets +2 health. If the enemy Alejandro Vela is attached to leaves play, you can advance. Now, so the Night Gaunt has 6 health now, which is definitely going to be a bitch to beat. But it is what it is. So what did I do? I played Hard Knocks. I got rid of the locked door. I successfully investigated, and now I'm going to spend 1 resource to put fine clothes in play. Move my discard pile. Now this is a nice setup, which will get better. Here's the 1 resource for fine clothes. Alright, enemy phase. We're going to resolve the hunter keyword on the Night Gaunt. So he is going to move to here. Upkeep phase. Already Lone Wolf. Ready Dr. Milan. I'm going to draw a card. Pickpocketing. And I'm going to grab 2 resources. I'm going to put the 6 Doom in play on 3 Fates. The town is bustling as noon comes and goes. University students travel from class to class. Business people take breaks from their busy office lives. And in East Town, Velma's diner is abuzz with the lunch rush. Despite this veil of normality, the curtain has been lifted. You see this town for what it really is. An endless mire of secrets. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. If there are only 2 decks in play, never mind, there are not. We are not that efficient. We are still 6 hard-fought damage away from getting to agenda. Getting one of these act decks out. We haven't even started the other 2. Alright. So we will now grab the top encounter card. It is another Words of Power. You've got to be kidding me. Alright, both of these things are a problem. And I'm going to use Lone Wolf, so I'm just going to exhaust that, make sure I get my resource. And honestly, I'm tempted just to dump them both. This is my entire turn. Yeah, I'm doing it. Alright, resolve the hunter keyword. I'm going to draw a card. Oh, I still have Dynamite Blast too. It's like Psychosis. I'm going to take Psychosis. So after you add 1 more horror, take 1 direct damage. Kind of doing okay with horror damage, but still, the second you feel that way, this game is a way of catching up to you. So I will probably dump that too. We're going to put the first Doom on Agenda 2. We grab this. It's an Acolyte. Alright. I feel better about dumping both of those so I can actually kill this thing at some point. Yeah, everything's right. So he spawns in an empty location. We'll put one Doom on him. My turn. I am going to discard Psychosis. Well, I get Lone Wolf. I get a resource there. So my first 2 actions, I discard Psychosis. My next action is I will put Machete in play for 3. My third action is I will draw a card, because honestly all my weaknesses are out. So my fourth action, so 1, 2, played Machete for 3 and drew a card for 4. So we're going to resolve the hunter keyword of the Night Gaunt. We're going to ready Lone Wolf for upkeep. We're going to draw a card, and we're going to take 2 resources. I'm going to put the second Doom on Agenda 2, which is the third Doom in play, and we draw. Jesus. I guess it doesn't matter, because if I go to Rivertown, still away, I can still use my dynamite. So I'm not gonna go too crazy trying to avoid this damage and horror here. It's a 3 to a 4. I fail, so I take a damage and horror. Disengage from all enemies. Go to a central location. So here's my damage. I'll put it on Jenny. I'll put the horror on Dr. Milan. I am now have 4 actions. I'm going to spend 5 with my first action to blow up the East Town location. So that puts 3 damage on the Night Gaunt, and that kills the Acolyte. That's my first action. My second action is I am going to move to East Town, where the Night Gaunt engages with me. My Lone Wolf, I get a resource. Sorry. My third action, he's got 6 health. I'm going to play 3 for backstab. So it uses agility instead of combat. So I'm attacking with a 3 to a 3, and then I'm going to spend 3 more for hard knocks and hope I don't get super unlucky. Actually, I'll spend 2 more and I'll commit pickpocketing. So it's a 6 to a 3, minus 3. Wow, man, I am getting real lucky by spending the right amounts. That is 3 more damage thanks to backstab. I blew him up, I moved, and I backstabbed him. So that was my third action. He's dead. Let me read what this says. Alejandro collapses to the ground with the winged beast's body. He coughs and rises to his feet, shaking. That beast, it had me in its clutches. Who knows where it was taking me? The investigator nearest to the hunting Night Gaunt takes control of Alejandro Vela. So I'm going to have to get rid of Dr. Milan, which is a little unfortunate. It's fine. And remove the remainder of CD Act from the game. Another act card is in play. Continue. So we're going to move all of CD out of play. actually have one more action because I blew him up, I moved, I attacked with backstab, and now I will move to downtown. Shroud value of 3, clue value of 1, gain 3 resources, limit once per game. So enemy phase, upkeep phase, I'm going to ready Lone Wolf. It's getting a little early. I'm going to move my charisma over here. Alright. Upkeep phase, I'm going to draw a card. Lockpicks, that's what I'm talking about. Especially after I just lost Dr. Milan. I'm going to take 2 resources. I'm going to put a Doom, that's the 3rd Doom on the 2nd agenda, and I pull Hunting Shadow. You must either spend 1 clue or take 2 damage. Man. I'll take the 2 damage. Doing okay here. Alright, so I am going to put this on here as a reminder I did that as an action. I take 3 resources. That's limit once per investigator per game, so obviously in a solo game, that's the only time it could happen. First action. Second action, I'm moving to north side. It's a shroud value of 3, a clue value of 2. Spend 5 resources to gain 2 clues from the token pool. It's my second action. My third action is I am going to put lockpicks in play and just get rid of the Derringer. Between Machete and Hard Knocks. Oh, exhausted Lone Wolf. That's exactly why I exhausted, because I know when it's not exhausted, I didn't do it. I have 3 supplies on lockpicks. Again, I spent 3 to build it. So that's that 3 there. And with my last action, I'm going to exhaust lockpicks and search a 6 to a 3. I succeed. I did not succeed by more than 2, so I lose one of my lockpicks, but I get this clue, and I'm going to actually spend a clue to advance this act deck. Maria de Silver, a wealthy patron. She's an asset and a bystander. Revelation. Put Maria de Silver into play in the Curiosity Shop. I can spend a resource and parlay. You chat with Maria about the artifacts on sale, and they test 3 intellect. If I succeed, place 1 clue on her. We're going to go to Act 2, Strange Relics. Inside the shop, a middle-aged woman wearing the height of fashion inspects the Eztli relics on display with admiration. How did those relics get here? And what does this woman know about all of this? If there are 1 per investigator clues on Maria de Silver, you must immediately remove them in advance. So that was my 4th action. I did that action, I moved, I played lockpicks, I investigated. Alright, so we're going to ready this. There are no enemies. So we're going to the rest of Upkeep Phase. We draw a card, Emergency Catch, and we're going to take 2 resources. We're going to put the 4th Doom in play. Grab the top card from the encounter deck. Eesh. Alright, if you have no clues, false lead against Surge. Otherwise, test intellect 4. I'm gonna lose this, that's fine. Oof, lose badly. Place this clue back on my location. Alright, better than Surge, I guess. So I'm going to exhaust Lone Wolf, take this resource. My first action, I'm going to move into Curiosity Shop. Shroud value 2, clue value 2. And it's North Side is connected to Curiosity Shop, so I have 2 more actions. No, I have 3 more actions. I'm going to investigate. No, I can't use that with that. Shoot. going to exhaust lockpicks. I'm investigating a 6 to a 2. I super fail. Wow. I have 2 more actions. I'm going to spend a resource to parlay. I am parlaying a 3 to a 1. I succeed. So I put 1 resource from the token pool on Maria de Silver. That does put one clue from the token pool on Maria de Silver. That does put 1 per investigator clues on her. So I advance. Maria takes a puff from her cigarette before responding to your questions. She tells you that she overheard some well-to-do patrons putting down several outrageously pricey bids on the Eztli artifacts. I don't even know where these artifacts came from, but those people seem to know exactly what they were looking for, she claims. Perhaps if you follow this trail of money, you'll uncover more about this mysterious group that operates in Arkham's shadows. Remember that both downtown and Rivertown are Iztaka's destinations. One at a time, in player order, each investigator discards a top card on the encounter deck. Each investigator who discards a treachery card must draw that card. Alright, and we advance to strange occurrences. That goes there. This comes out. And so I have to draw treachery. It is a treachery. And this treachery will go on. Oh, this is not great. It's going to cost me 3 actions to try to get rid of searching for Izzy. Alright, 3E. Iztaka has found the target of her investigation. Oh, I did not succeed, so this gets thrown out. Lockpicks are doing me a whole lot of good. Iztaka has found the target of her investigation. A trail of mysterious cult leads here. A thorough search of the area may reveal more. While you are at any of Iztaka destinations, the first treachery card you draw from the encounter deck each round gains surge. If there are no clues remaining on each of Iztaka's destinations, advance. So I basically just need to get. So I'm going to put 1 horror on downtown to remind me that this is Iztaka's destination. I'm going to put 1 on Rivertown. So I just need to get that clue. And I have 1 more lockpick to do just that. Alright. That's fine. So, move, I investigated, I parlayed. I have I'm going to move to north side. Enemy phase, upkeep phase. We're going to draw a card. Flashlight could do. We're going to take 2 resources. We're going to put a 5th Doom in play. Flashlight will actually help me investigate here and just make sure I take care of Lizzie. We're going to draw an encounter card, false lead. I have no clues, so this gains surge. Place 2 Doom in the nearest coldest enemy in play. Put the Acolyte there. So there were no coldest enemies in play. So now I have 4 actions. I'm going to move. Oh, there's a Doom on this guy. I'm going to engage him. I have a 4 to a 3. I'll make it a 5-6 to a 3. get a resource for Lone Wolf. I succeed. Acolyte's dead. I'm going to exhaust lockpicks. Searching a 6 to a 3 tablet. -2. I did succeed by 1, so I don't have the place to do when I call this enemy. There are none anyway. I get that clue. There are no clues remaining on Istaka's destination, so I can look at this. If Istaka's destinations were downtown and Rivertown, read, using information from the bank, you track the bidders to a warehouse in Rivertown. Inside, you find a bounty of information about the Eztli relics and Alejandro's expedition. The investigator nearest to Rivertown takes control to set aside Istaka, the Forgotten Guardian. Remove the remainder of the EF deck from the game. If another act card is in play, continue. So I don't know if I need to get rid of Alejandro. I think that is the intention. I'm sorry, of Leo. I think the spirit of the game that it intends you to get rid of Leo and hold on to Istaka. What did I succeed by? I only succeeded by 1. So I do, if lockpicks has no supplies, discard it. So I'm going to discard that. That goes there, there, there. Put Istaka. Now, Istaka, the Forgotten Guardian. She is an ally. She's Eztli, a wayfarer. You get +1 fight, +2 while attacking an enemy with victory X. You get +1 agility, +2 while attempting to evade an enemy with vengeance X. And after you add an enemy to the victory display, exhaust Istaka. You and Istaka each heal 1 horror. Alright, so that was my third action. I moved, I fought, I investigated, and now we are going to go to, this whole thing goes out of play. Now we are going to go to enemy phase, are no enemies, upkeep phase. We're going to draw a card, Cat Burglar. We're going to take 2 resources. Alright, this is going to be cutting it a little bit close, but I think we got a chance. We're going to put the 6 Doom in play. The streets begin to empty as evening approaches. When the office buildings shut their doors, the clubs open theirs, in places both public and hidden from view. In downtown Arkham, the Ward Theater is well lit and filled to capacity. The surrounding streets, however, are eerily quiet. Only soft footsteps from nearby alleyways hint at any sign of life, and a cold wind whistles through the air. The workday might have ended, but your work is far from over. The figures walking down the street start to fill you with a sense of dread instead of comfort. Shuffle the encounter deck or discard pile into the encounter deck. If there are only 1 deck in play, place 2 Doom on agenda 3A. Alright. So and I think it's still Istaka's destination. So actually might, let me read this. While you are at any of Istaka's destinations, the first treachery draw counter deck. So we're drawing a treachery card. No, we get a Brotherhood cultist. Ugh. Exhaust Lone Wolf. So I'm going to try to evade him. I have evade. Even better. spend 2. This is fast, so elusive, fast. Play only during your turn. Disengage from each enemy engaged with you and move to a revealed location with no enemies. So I'm going to go to Rivertown. My first action is I'm going to move to the Miskatonic University. Shroud value 4, clue value 2. Search the top 6 cards of your deck for a tome or a spell. Add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. Don't need to do that. I'm going to spend the 1 clue I got from downtown to advance this deck. Finally, Eztli exhibit. Revelation. Put the Eztli exhibit into play. It is connected to Miskatonic University. You can tell from the icons or the symbols in the top left. After you reveal a skull, cultist, tablet, elder thing, or auto-lose symbol while investigating, you take 1 horror. So my first action was move there. My second action is to move into the Eztli exhibit. It's a shroud value of 3 again. Again, there's 2 clues. It's not an ancient location. We can read 2A. One of the museum security guards, a man named Drew Walker, recognizes you from the prior work with Alejandro and Dr. Horowitz. Look, I ain't supposed to be letting anybody into the exhibit, but the coppers don't know from nothing when it comes to this hokum. He steps aside and lets you pass. If anybody asks, you slipped in while I was using the John. All right, don't take any wooden nickels. Only investigators in Eztli exhibit can spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance, and that number is 2. I'm going to then put the flashlight in play for 2 and has 3 supplies. Enemy phase. We're going to resolve the hunter keyword. The Brotherhood cultist goes to north side. Upkeep phase. We're going to grab a card. And we're going to take 2 resources. Meet those phase. Third doom. Card. Test 3 willpower. If you, it's actually 5 willpower because it gets +1 difficulty for every act deck that has been completed, and it's actually going to deal 3 damage and 3 horror because it will. +1. I still fail, which is amazing. I'm going to put 2 damage on Chitaka, 1 horror, 1 horror, 1 damage, and 1 horror on Jenny. So that was 3 and 3. So Jenny has 3 hard damage and 1 horror. Alejandro and Eztli both are 1 away from their max in both categories. So let's do some investigating. I'm going to spend a token. I'm investigating a 3 level 1. Cultist -2. I did not succeed by at least 1, so I do take a damage. But I succeeded in getting the clue. I'm going to spend another shroud. Another flashlight. Oh, I revealed a cultist, so I also take a horror. Jesus. -3, I fail. You've got to be kidding me. Spending this. Three to a 1. Skull. I succeed, but so I get another horror. Will I get this clue? I'm going to spend these 2 clues to advance this deck. You search the exhibit where the relic was to be on display, looking for signs of where it may have been taken. Though you find no concrete evidence, on the ground near the exhibit entrance you do notice several recent scuff marks made by men's shoes. You ask Drew who was last to see the exhibit after Alejandro left. Some suits, government types, he replies. They had clearing to see the exhibit from Mr. Walstead, the curator. It's far from proof of the relic's location, but it's a lead, hopefully one that will point you in the right direction. But to set aside town hall location into play. If it was already in play, add +1 clue to it. If there are 2 or fewer decks in play. Add an additional clue to it. So it's not already in play. It's connected to downtown. And we're going to connect the Relic of Ages to it. We're going to add one clue to it, even though it's not revealed. And then we're going to advance to find the relic. Oh, that's going to be impossible. Find the relic. You believe you have discovered the relic's whereabouts. Now you must scour the place from bottom to top in order to find it. While the relic is attached to a location, while the Relic of Ages is attached to a location, that location gets +2 shroud. If the Relic of Ages is attached to a location with no remaining clues, advance. I don't see how I do this one. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work. I think I've been forgetting to give myself clues and all that stuff, but it's not gonna matter, I don't think. But we'll see. Alright, enemy phase. We're gonna resolve the hunter keyword. Upkeep phase, already lone wolf. We're going to draw a card. It's manual dexterity. We're going to take a resource. Put the 4th doom in play. Draw this. Jesus. We're going to exhaust lone wolf. Get a resource. We need to try to evade the Brotherhood cultist. So it's a 3 +1 for attack is 4 +2. So it's a 6 to a 2. I succeed. I draw a card. He's evaded. I'm going to move. To try to evade is a 4, 7 to a 2. Wow. I succeed. Enemy phase, upkeep phase. Going to draw a card, take 2 resources, bring this, play, it's 5, put him in an empty location, it doesn't matter. So I'm trying to evade the Brotherhood cultist. It's going to be a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. 9 to a 2. I win by more than 2, so I can immediately take another action. I'll use that action to move. 2 more actions. Shoot. So yeah, I got a little greedy there. Definitely could have just gone and used a flashlight to take care of searching for Izzy. So I basically, doing what I did, I traded. I got 1 victory point. That would have been hard to get there because of the number of actions I would have had to spend. But that victory point is probably not worth the mental trauma I'm going to take for having
searching for he's still in play at the end of this. But yeah, I only have 2 actions left, so it would take me 2 actions to get to the town hall. Obviously, getting there is not going to help me do anything while I'm there. So I'm gonna use. I'm just gonna resign. There's nothing productive I can do with 1 more action. So definitely feel like I left a lot of possibilities on the table here. But let's resign. I'll reveal town hall just to see what it would have been. Yeah, it would have been. Oh, yeah, it would have been investigating a 6 to a 4. I'm sorry, it would have been investigating a 6 without really any of the ammunition to do that. And there would have been 2 clues on there. One because of the clue value, and then the other one was because when I did this agenda last, by doing this act last, there was only 2 acts in play, or there's only 1 act in play, so I had added 1 additional clue. So yeah, this is in a solo game. They do make it hard to do all 3 of the acts. It's doable. I'm finding it hard to do with Jenny for whatever reason, but I'm happy to successfully get Alejandro and Ichtaka, and picked up a smattering of victory points. Only 2 actually. That ain't great. 2 victory points. Got Ichtaka, got Alejandro. So let me resign, and I will go to our handy dandy guide here. All right, if no resolution was reached, read R1. You arrive back at your house and take stock of the situation. Your investigation throughout the city has uncovered the existence of a secret cabal within Arkham. From what you can tell, they call themselves the Brotherhood, and they seem to know more about the Eztli relic and Alejandro's previous expedition than even you do. Their methods are secret and furtive, and their motives elude you still. However, 1 piece of vital information has come to light. They seek a place known as the Nexus of Nakai, Ichtaka claims. A map of Central America lies on the table before you, marked with the previous expedition's trail. I have heard of this place, but its exact location is not known to me. Once again, your mysterious guide appears to know more than she lets on. With no other leads to follow, you are left with no choice. Once more, you must journey into uncharted territory in search of answers. But will anyone return this time? Check which acts were completed during this scenario. Fact 3B was completed. It was not. I could have added the Relic of Ages, but if it's still in play, record that the relic is missing. So I'm going to my ArkhamDB. Go to my campaigns. Forgotten Age. Record scenario results. Interlude, only save. Alright, Threads of Fate. No res. Record that the relic is missing. If Act 3D was completed, it was. Record that the investigators rescued Alejandro. And I can include Alejandro in my deck, which I will. If 3F was completed, it was. Record that forged a bond with Ichtaka. I will add her to my deck. The lead investigator earns the Expedition Journal card. So I can add another card. This is you may take 1 additional action during your turn, which can only be used to explore. It's a good asset in this campaign. And each investigator earns experience equal to the victory X value of each card in the victory display. So I'm moving the Arkham Police Station and the Eztli exhibit to the victory display. Each investigator earns 1 additional experience for each Act 1 card that was completed. So I get 5 experience total. We're going to save and upgrade decks. Upgrade. Adding Expedition Journal, adding a Taka, taking the Relic of Ages out. Save. Alright, we now come to a couple of things. So it's a resupply point. It is clear now that you will have to venture once more to the wilds. So we're going to do a resupply. Oh, I do take a horror because... I'm sorry, not a horror, a mental trauma because searching for Izzy is still in play at the scenario end. So that's not ideal. So I can spend 5 XP to remove the mental trauma. I'm not going to do that. So I have 5 XP to spend, and I have 8 supply points. The supplies I already have. I have a blanket, I have torches, I have a compass, and I have binoculars. 8 supply points is not enough here. I'm going to take, based on some experience, chalk, a pickaxe, medicine, because if I get poisoned, I'm gonna need to be able to heal that. Gasoline and gasoline. So I'm not taking any revisions, which I probably wouldn't be a decision I would make with any other investigator but Jenny, and that will make some sense as we go. My 5 XP. So we're looking at pretty much all rogue cards, because I already got charisma. Don't feel a dying need for any of the other. Key of Wise would be an interesting neutral card to take, but it's going to be 10 XP because that's exceptional based on the taboo rules. So I'm not going to go there. The upgraded Switchblade is nice. Taboo rules say it costs 3. Do like High Roller. Find it especially useful. three ammo on the Derringer is such a limitation of that card. Ace in the hole is really nice. Lola's kind of a beast. XP on Hot Streak just seems not the most useful. The problem with Lola is I have so many. So many other allies, I'm not sure if I get Lola in play. Lola. Alright, I'm gonna take High Roller and Switchblade. I'm gonna drop. Didn't I get? That could have been helpful. A couple of investigation cards. The Switchblade's going to cost an extra experience because of taboo rules. Not doing all that much evading right now. So that's that. That is the Threads of Fate scenario. I did my upgrades. Let me put them in my ArkhamDB. Anyone saw any rules I missed? I'm pretty sure I got a little messed up with resources near the end. Probably either took one too many or didn't take one I deserved, but I had so many resources it didn't matter. Plus I wasn't really using them for anything. Probably should have just gone and taken care of that mental trauma issue with searching for Izzy. Might regret that for sure. So I took the upgraded switchblade, which it's +2 combat, and if I succeed by 2 more, it deals +1 damage, which is it's nice. It's fast, you can get it out quick, and definitely gives you that extra opportunity for more than 1 damage. The high roller is you can spend 3 resources and exhaust it. If you get +2 skill value, and if you succeed, you just get the 3 resources back. So it's a nice little rogue gambly card that I like to add to my decks. That +2 value can come in handy, especially if you're trying to save like your last lockpick or something like that. So I will add Chitaka. I will add Alejandro. Not sure what the ruling is. The whole take control. I probably could have killed. I probably could have kept Leo around. It wouldn't have mattered. You know, if I kept Leo and just dumped Alejandro, I definitely don't see a reason. It doesn't say they had to be in play. I mean, the act deck wasn't in play. So that's probably a rule that I messed up. I just feel like the spirit is when you, I know when you take control, you have to put them in play. So it does mean it takes up an ally slot. But when it's already in play and you take control, when I took control of Stock Up, I didn't have charisma. I clearly would have had to take him out of play. So that was probably just a mistake on my part. But again, it wouldn't have mattered. There was no way I was searching the town hall. What I needed was the other agenda on Act 1, but even then it would have been hard to complete based on my lack of turns that I had left. So here is my deck going into the next scenario. Next scenario is one of my favorite ones. The next really like 4, 6, and 7 are a lot of fun. 8's a good summation of this game, but 4, 6, and 7 there's going to be a lot of fun scenarios coming up. So hopefully we can survive that long and do some good things in the next scenario. So that's it. Hope you are all enjoyed this playthrough. Any comments, any questions in the comments, that'd be great, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Have a great night.